Welcome back to the vlog. We are young with kids, parents at flesh, children at heart. Today is a special day. Today is day number 50 on our 100 video day challenge. My wife and I have 4 amazing kids. We are currently traveling around the country in our 32-foot Class C motorhome, and we're pulling a trailer with all our gear that doubles as our garage for our equipment, as well as my office for editing and working. We have a kids YouTube channel that has over 170,000 subscribers. That's right, we have a silver play button, baby. Not on this vlog, not yet anyway. And it's awesome. It's been such an awesome journey. And exactly 1 year ago today, we were finalizing our plans for a 1-year tour around the country with our kids, hosting events for our fans. And let me tell you, these last 10 and a half months have been insane. It's crazy to think about the stress that you have as a parent, the way that you carry that weight and how that impacts your children. This tour, traveling on the road full time in our RV, has been probably the biggest challenge that I've ever faced, just personally, in terms of managing stress and the obstacles that we've run into, as well as like thinking about my kids. You know, they're at an age where I think they're watching us as parents, you know, how we're handling these different moments. And so I think it's really important for us to remember that when we are dealing with the challenges in our lives. One of the hard things about this tour, and even this vlog for that matter, is trying to figure out how to make it relatable to other families out there that are you know, going after their dreams with their families. Obviously, the exact nature of what we do is, you know, not very common. So, you know, there's elements. People travel full time. We're really inspired by the Fulltime RV community. There are lots of families that run YouTube channels with their families as well. And we've just watched these communities over the years and tried to figure out, you know, what place does that have in our family dynamics? What place does that have as our kids are growing older? My wife, Breck, and I, we had our firstborn son, Miles, when we were pretty young. We were both 20 years old. And, you know, back then we were already kind of dabbling with video and stuff online. And I've always been inspired by making videos and using my creativity through this, I guess, form of communication. Actually, when I was graduating high school, I applied to film schools, 3 different film schools, and got accepted. I didn't end up going, but this has definitely been a passion of mine for a while. So through having kids, you know, working all the different jobs, I've always tried to figure out, you know, how can I incorporate storytelling and videos into our lives? For a long time, we've vlogged for years, but we never put anything out there. We've tested a few different vlogs, you know, over the years, but I've always had a hard time about like figuring out the balance of, you know, pushing your family, pushing your story out while also raising kids that maybe don't understand the dynamic to that yet. So for us, you know, this is a special season because our kids are getting older. We've kind of been around YouTube with our other channel. We've traveled with other YouTube families, with some other friends that do YouTube in the past. It's been a really special journey to get to where we are today. A lot of times I look at, you know, influential people in our world, and you hear their upbringing story, or, you know, their life that has led them to be who they are today. And I think it's really rare that you find someone that has grown to a place of influence, and not influence, I guess, in the sense of like has a lot of money and can do stuff with their money, but more of like has a lot of passion and are doing things differently. And that's something that I value, and I think is a admirable position to be in as a person. And so for me, when I look at those people, you often hear their upbringing was very unconventional. You have a lot of people that either experience a lot of hardship, maybe their family traveled a lot, they were maybe missionary families. And what I've kind of gathered from that is perspective. You are the perspectives that you take in. And if you grow up in a small community and you are surrounded by that community, then you will grow up with that as your perspective, and it'll take a lot for you to have to break out of that to pursue something else. And that was my upbringing. I had a little bit of variety in my life, and so that is our goal. That is our goal as a family. That's why we have the motto of turn stress into adventure. Is, hey, just because something's challenging doesn't mean it needs to be negative. And I'll tell you what, this tour has been full of a lot of potentially negative experiences. But we have been able to push through, I think, on the basis of what is our motivation. And if it is simply just financial gain, then yeah, it's negative. We have less money now than we did when we started this tour. We don't have enough money really to get much beyond one stop at a time. What that does for us is it makes us turn on our problem solving. It makes us put on our problem solving hats and really work through some of these challenges. We're definitely at a point in the tour now, 10.5 months in, where we're all kind of tired, exhausted from our living space. It's really small. There's a lot of issues with the RV. We've had tire issues, electrical issues, engine issues. The actual space itself is honestly not big enough for our family. Our kids are growing. Miles sleeps on the couch every night, and so he lays out his mat, sleeps on the couch, and then rolls it up at the beginning of the day. Our 3 younger kids sleep on an overhead bunk, so they literally are side by side on a bunk, and they've been living that way not just for a camping weekend, but 10.5 months now, and we have 2 months to go. And so it's been really challenging, and I've been really proud of our kids for pushing through. It's been fun to see them kind of adopt this mentality of like taking it head on. And we still have our moments. We all blow up at each other. We all have, days where we're stressed out and trying to figure out, what we're doing, how we're going to respond to certain circumstances. And I feel like, especially with a family of 6, there's a lot of opportunities for us to have things, have negative emotions impact us in a way that starts taking us down, a path that ends up being a little bit more destructive to the dynamics of our family. But just the same, I think there's a lot of opportunities for us to lift each other up, and that's been something that has been my focus, especially at this point in the tour. Is, all right, hey, we've got 2 months left. What can we do to make this something special? What can we do to continue to look at the glass half full, if you will, and really appreciate these experiences that we do get to have because of the work that we're doing. And that is the nice thing, as much as there's not this big check that we get from YouTube every month, or we're not raking in the dough with sponsorships, there really are a lot of open doors for the work that we're doing right now in terms of experiences for our kids, and also being able to host these events, I think, for toddlers all over the country. We're hosting bike clinics and story times all over the country. And every time coming into a city, we're stressed out. We're trying to figure out the details of the space. Maybe there's been, a lapse in communication. And so we're a little bit stressed out about the details. But every single event has been so special. And, sometimes we have 60, 70 kids show up. And sometimes we have a handful, 4 or 5. And what's been so special is it doesn't matter what type of event we end up running. There's always interactions that we have that make us feel so fulfilled with that experience, and that goes for our whole family. It's so fun to see our kids out there helping kids learn how to ride a bike. It's so amazing to see these families feel encouraged about getting their kids out on bikes at the BMX tracks, and to hear parents talk about your kids and say, hey, your son, he's a really good coach, and he helped my kid, overcome their fear. Or they crashed and your daughter came up and, helped kind of walk her through being able to get back up on her bike. And, as a parent, to hear other parents acknowledge, the work that you're putting into your kids and see the fruit of that work, I think, is so special. And that's something that no paycheck and no, job recognition and no level of traditional success can replace that. And so I'll end today's vlog by just saying thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for following along. Thank you for the support. We have such an amazing support. We have such an amazing people that support us, friends and family, and a lot of you guys, even just the comments here on our YouTube channel has been such a blessing. And I mean, I'll tell you what, with kids YouTube, that's the other thing, is there's no way there's no comments on kids videos, and so a lot of times you get stuck in this, like, views are one thing, but to be able to have these stories and to have confirmation about what we're doing is something that is actually making an impact to other people, I think that's so special, and that really helps encourage us too. So thank you. That's it for today. Tomorrow we're back to daily videos, more traditional vlog, but I did just want to take a moment to say thank you. Thank you for making it this far. If you're just joining us, hit that subscribe button so you can keep up with the remainder of our tour and what's next to come. We are parents in flesh, children at heart, and you can be a young parent too. Doesn't matter your age. It's about choosing to live like a child and look at the world around you with eyes of joy and excitement, and how you can lift the people up around you, especially your kids. All right, see you later.